Are we in possession of test which would reveal its validity? If personal experience had been the only ground, okay, if personal experience only ground for acceptance of judgment of this kind, religion would have been the possession of few individuals only. Okay, so personal experience is not the only ground for the acceptance of. So let's dwell on this a bit. So religion deal with, according to this point anyway, religion is deal with a specific region of human experience, and that human experience is subjective in the sense that it is not an intersubjective experience, and it's the experience of a reality which is outside me, which is called God. And this experience is based on feeling, passions, and all that, but it has objective content as well, which is in the form of interpretation, conveyed in the form of judgment. But I can't convey my experience like the very subjective experience, although I might be able to describe those experiences. But you can't feel, you can't actually experience those experiences as you can't experience my pain, for example. So the question is how we can judge the validity of these claims about objective contents of religion. That's his question. What's the test? So he's saying subjective test is not the only test. I think one of the things which he will get at, I mean, subjective test also applies because that's the personality of the prophet, for example, or the Sufi or the mystic. But I think what he will get at, if I have to anticipate, he will say, another test would be the consequences of if we implement those interpretations in a society. So the social fruits or consequences of the implementation of those insights will provide a test. The pragmatic test would be another test, I guess, but we'll see. Happily, we are in a position of tests which do not differ from other applicable to other forms. These I call intellectual tests. So, okay, and the pragmatic test. So intellectual test and pragmatic test. Okay, that's getting interesting. So religious experience is subjective experience with objective claims. And the test of those claims is not just subjective. There is a subjective test as well, which he sort of tried to develop in this lecture. But there are two other types of tests, intellectual test and pragmatic test. I sort of was trying to get to a pragmatic test just before, but he has intellectual test as well. So these two tests he'll talk about in the next lectures. Okay, among other things. Now he briefly, by the intellectual test, I mean critical interpretation without any presupposition of human experience.